Anyways, and also what I want to talk about is this whole thing, this whole kind of hole that The Walking Dead dug for themselves in season 7. And I think Tom Paine and his character Jesus were a victim to this. So in the comic books, you have a lot of characters, and even in the comic books, I think at times, I mean, in an issue, right? I mean, how many pages an issue? I'm not exactly sure, but it's not the longest thing. It's not a novel, right? Like, so, even having too many characters in a comic book is a problem, let alone a TV show that has 42 minutes a week, to display different stories. And the way The Walking Dead works, especially with season 7, is they did so many episodes focused on specific stories, right? And some people call them bottle episodes. Okay, right, fair enough. And so their episodes kind of focused on specific stories. And with that approach, it is so difficult to have 20 characters. It was almost like 20 characters, main characters, not necessarily series regulars, but 20 main characters in season 7 that we wanted to follow and that we wanted to see in every single episode, almost, right? Almost, I would say it's close to 20. It's definitely closer to 20 than it is 10. We'll just say that, right? And so, for that reason, it was so tough for The Walking Dead, and that's why I still think season 7 was maybe one of the worst seasons, if not the worst of The Walking Dead, because they had so many characters and they just did not have enough time to depict all of them. And that's by, just like Jesus, I mean, he fell totally victim to that, right? I mean, he was definitely overshadowed by tons and tons of characters. Ezekiel had a big storyline at the well, in season 8 he had a big storyline. He was kind of neglected in season 7 as well, up until that point. Of course, Daryl got a lot of focus in that in the first half there. Not a good focus, but he got focus. And just all that stuff. So, overall, the show made a huge mistake in integrating so many characters together. But it wasn't even necessarily that. It was integrating these characters, but making them kind of all main characters, instead of having, side characters and characters that, of course, like, we have a lot of characters in Walking Dead that we'll recognize on screen. Maybe we don't even know their name, or we don't really care, right? Like, if they died, okay, okay, they died, but it's not gonna, impact us a lot. But in season 7, they introduced us to all these communities, right? But they made so many characters in there, so many memorable characters, and characters that mattered to us. And in season 7, they just weren't able to show all these characters. If you understand what I'm saying, I'm and so the point I'm trying to make, I guess, is that they kind of they tried to take too many characters and too many communities all at one time in the show. And I understand that they were kind of following the comic books, and maybe the comic books had that many really cool characters. But I think in the TV show, I think they made a mistake in kind of strictly sticking to that comic books. And even they added their own characters too, like Jerry and a couple others. They definitely added characters in there on top of already the flooded field of characters that were coming for the comic books for season 7. So overall, Jesus fell totally victim to this in season 7. He did not have a big role at all in my memory. I don't think so. He didn't have a very big role. And in season 8, he didn't have a big role either. I mean, he was kind of Maggie's right-hand guy, I guess, a little bit. But even then, he didn't get a lot of screen time, and he didn't get a lot of presence. And like you said, his only big thing was his storyline with Morgan. I mean, like, think back, like, that is true. I mean, the only fighting he really did was with Morgan, the whole season 8. So, and especially then comparing that to the comics, it's just sad, the discrepancy between the two. It's truly sad. So, anyways, Jesus really fell victim to this, and you know what? A really great way to go out, though, I will say. Maybe they made a mistake with all these characters, and they made a mistake with Jesus, but they did not make a mistake with his death, and that's something that I think can be redeemable for the show and the writers going forward.